Welcome to the Goddess-ity podcast, where women come together and have the audacity to tell their truths. Are you choosing to live out loud while honoring the divine within? Well, ladies, this is your movement. Join Akili, April, Juanita, and Linda as they dive deep into topics like self-love, spirituality, and comedic wisdom. We call those the foundations of goddess life. Tap in with the goddesses every week to be inspired, uplifted, and empowered.
Here's where we left off in last week's episode.
So my challenge, let's see, I would say maybe 7, 8 years ago, I was actually studying my Bible because people would come to me and they're asking me questions. They're asking me for advice, and I could not understand why. And if you want to do it from a Christian perspective, you need to be able to, quote chapter, book, and verse. Yep. And I get this phone call from this guy I met. And he said, "Have you ever heard of the Council of Nicaea?" I was like, "No." I want to get to the source. So I'm digging, I'm researching. So I found the transcript, and it was long. And so I got to the part where it says, "Who are we going to say Jesus is?" I said, "What?"
Now, part 2 of How to Be a Goddess.
So I'm like, let me go back up and make sure I'm reading this in context, And it's like you have all these different entities coming together to have this meeting. And it's like, well, you say this person is this, and we say this is over here. And so who is it? Who are we going to say this person is? That threw me for a loop. So I'm like, okay, let me put this aside because my brain right now is just completely like malfunctioning. Let me read it. Let me see what I can find out about these missing books of the Bible. And so I get someone's research paper, and the first paragraph is that it's not that these books are missing. It is that when King James put the book together, they decided what books they wanted to include.
Yep.
That pissed me off. I said, here it is. I am trying to live and abide by the words that's in this book, and somebody has determined that they're going to leave some things out. I said, so what if what I am attempting to do is completely way off basis because somebody else decided that they want to make it and fit them? And it was at that moment I did not open another book. I didn't read anything because I didn't trust anyone. And my mind I was literally just in a daze. And
Wow.
you would have thought that I was a zombie because I was like, okay, I can't even process this, because I had these two, what I read about the Council of Nicaea, everything made sense to me as far as when I started thinking about history and whatnot, because as a child growing up in the church, I questioned things. And I'm like, well, this don't make sense. But I'm like, well, no, it must be true because these adults are telling you, so just believe it, And I even remember asking, well, what about these lost books of the Bible? And they would just explain it away. So again, I'm just like, okay, but as an adult, I'm like, okay, well, this information, what are you going to do with it? So for 5 years, I did not touch a book. I mean, y'all see a little bit of snippet over here, but I mean, I had tons of books. So about 3 years ago, maybe, I was just right where I'm at right now. Then all of a sudden, I start hearing this voice inside of me that I'm just like, hold on. And I said, okay, now it's time, Linda. It's time for you to open up and prepare yourself for the truth. Because I was scared. And so KCL, 5 years ago, I started seeing those videos popped up, and I was like, this ain't this is of the devil. I ain't gonna be
Full video.
yeah. But the videos started popping back up in my feed, and I said, you know what? Let me just listen to one, stop being afraid of everything. And when he shared his story, I said, if his story is not my story, and
Yes.
then I said, okay, I'm on the path now. I'm on the path. So it just started opening up one after another. And I got to the place where, so my speaking more on like the challenges. So even to this day, so yeah, that was a challenge, but I'm completely comfortable in where I'm at, so denouncing, de-identifying with the Christian faith. No, that's not me. And even when I was a Christian, I always told people I'm spiritual. I'm spiritual, but if you want me to put a label on it, okay, let's do Christian. Um, but the challenges that I have today might seem insignificant, like using the words prayer and God. Those are things that I associate with that Christian faith. And I don't want to say those words because there's a little piece of me, I don't want to slide back into what was is expected, because so many people around me
Yeah.
are Christians, identify as Christians, so I'm like, okay, universe, all, source, those are things that I tend to turn to more as far as identifying, that higher power, because I do believe that there is a higher power, higher source, you know. So those are those little challenges, and they might seem insignificant, but they are significant to me. And with all that being said, if I just jump to the opportunities that it has presented to me is freedom. Let freedom ring. Not get into any of the details, but I said, I'm a trauma coach. I have experienced some traumas, adult traumas, childhood traumas, and have worked very, 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 very hard to get through recovery and healing. But it wasn't until I tapped in to it within that goddess, that God in me, that healing was just like that recovery. And it's just more and more creating that life that I want to live, that I'm deserving of having, that I was created to have. Those opportunities to retire early. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah. So I am just so ecstatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And it just every morning I just remind myself to be grateful, and just offer up, just um, Thanksgiving, just for all of every opportunity that I have, and meeting you wonderful women and goddesses and
Yes, yes. I think if just to close it out, that was what with the opportunity, and each one of us, I think, has mentioned KCL. Um, and I think it's in my pursuit to be myself, right? And get to that place where I'm showing up as me. It led me to, Comedic Centered Living, KCL, where I could come into community with other, right? I was just trusting myself and following what I was being told to do. And it led me to this community that where I not only got a lot of the answers or confirmation and affirmation that I was looking for, but this would not be happening right now, right? The opportunity to connect with all of you, all of the things that we've talked about, all of the things we're excited about, um, and this podcast being one of them. But I feel very grateful, like Linda said. So this opportunity is one of many. You know what I mean? I mean, the sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? It's limitless. But yeah, us coming together would not have happened if we did not each, decide to follow, to follow and listen to ourselves, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is really dope. So such a cool thing. Such a cool thing. But okay. Anyone else before we move on? No? Okay. I think that's Akili Goddess.
Yes.
It's you're up.
Yeah, it's good. You and Linda set this up perfectly. There couldn't have been a better bridge where you want to talk about, what we feel like we're personally being maybe called to do or led to do or share with the world at this particular stage in our lives. And I'll start just by saying that I am a memory restoration advocate. Okay. Now,
And what does
boy,
that mean, sister? Let
right.
people
Okay,
know.
boy, it's taking me a minute to get there. I'm gonna thank again my brother Tony Browder, because that's the first person that I heard use the terminology. But I feel like Black people don't remember who we are, right? And I'm a big fan of the term or the phrase, as it was, as it is, and again shall be. And I mean every last part of that. We have been so stripped away and moved away and lied to and force fed other people's historical nonsense, inundated with the concepts of white supremacy ever since we come out of our mother's womb. As I watch my children go to school, I have a son who is now graduated from college, but a daughter that's in high school, a junior in high school. And not until she started taking a college class this semester in English did she say, "This is the first time I'm not learning about colonialism." Oh my God. I mean, the entire time, your whole education is designed to get you open and accepting to these concepts that white people rule the world.
Yes.
Period. End of sentence. Like, accept it, love it. This is the way it is. It doesn't matter. Nobody else has anything else to do with anything except us. With that type of deliberate education and training, and again, nonsense, it sets us up to just not even consider the truth. When a lie is so perfect, the truth doesn't even seem like an option. Do you understand me when I say that? And you could tell I'm very passionate about this, Juanita. Juanita, I'm sorry. I feel so strongly about this. I really do. I'm telling you now. So I believe that my purpose at this point in my life is to help Black people restore their memory. And we can only do that with corrective history. Not the history, again, that we keep being force fed, that has been taped together and put together by somebody with diabolical intent, but actual corrective history that looks at things linearly, not just points in time where you can try to pull little components out, almost like what they do with the Bible when they point you to a verse and be like, "See, look at what Jesus said right here." I'm like, but what happened before this?
Yeah.
What happened after? How do you know? What was the whole story? You're not going to tell me that part?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So corrective history seeks to give you the entirety of the story. Right? So that's me right now. Corrective history advocate. How do I do it? I do it with Aunt Couture, with a little fashionable component, with some purses. I do it with astrology because that's ancient Africans bringing that information to you. That's in my DNA. I do it through numerology because that's ancient Africans bringing it to you. It's in my DNA. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, you go.
My pineal gland is not calcified. Nice and plump and fluid, is doing what it's supposed to do. Okay.
That's right.
Pineal, I don't know, but it's not calcified. It's free flowing. All right. So that is me. Linda, I'm gonna bounce it back over to you.
Okay, bounce it back.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this moment,
Yes.
currently, my purpose is to connect with myself. It is to connect with myself, to get to know myself, to get to understand my power, not only just understand it and know it, but to operate in it. Goddesses, when I tell you about manifesting
Mm.
my life and creating, it's happening. It's happening. And allowing myself to see that and own it and knowing where it's coming from. And I'm just tapping into it more and more. And I firmly believe that by me doing so, as being, so connected to myself, being my own best friend,
Yeah.
Being my own lover, being my own husband, wife,
Yeah.
doing all of those things first and foremost to me.
Mhm.
April, I see you.
What's that?
I believe that then I can inspire and give people permission and space to do that for themselves.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you say that, we need representation, um, by doing so, then it's like, oh, okay, I have permission to do that. But understanding you don't need, I don't want this to come across the wrong way. For me, I don't need representation. I just
Yeah.
want to show up for myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm learning, I'm my own representation, and if I can stand up and be my own advocate and others see that, it's just like, well, maybe I can do that for myself too, because there's no ill intent in anything that I do for myself, because I'm not doing anything that's going to take away and harm someone else and their ability to do what's necessary for them. So I just believe I'm just a real proponent of that, and it definitely stems from that trauma, and getting away from that and connecting in who I am. So, Juanita, what say you?
I think what I want to bring to the world is I really want to help us, especially, Black women, really understand how to use money, how to make the money work for us, how to use it as a tool, not as something that we have to hold on to, worry about how we're going to get it, to understand that we can manifest
Mm-hmm.
by using money, which is a tool. It's only a tool to get the things that we want. But there are certain ways that we can use it and we can leverage it to get more of what we want. How we can bring it together as a group we talk about we want things to happen. Well, a lot of times it would just take us doing some things to make things happen for us. But I want us as Black people, Black women, to know what our power is. We have power. When you look at how much we buy and how much we purchase with our money, but the whole point is that we don't never put it together and make it count. And that's what I want to be able to bring to this world. It's like, show us. I mean, they'll tell you that Black women are some of the most highly educated. I mean, we have 50, if they say you need 50 degrees, we don't have 50 degrees.
That's all we
We
do is go to school. I'm sorry.
Yes, we don't know how to do everything backwards, forwards, whatever. Let's put the work for us in the community. Let's make our own way. We don't need all these people trying to tell us what we need and what we define who we are. That's the problem. We'll let other people define us. We get the money, we put our economic power together, we can define ourselves any way we want to.
Yes.
That's
Come on and bounce that Black dollar. Woo! Yes.
I want to do.
Lord.
Show us our power with our dollars. Because if you look back in history, when Jim Crow, all of that, our ancestors learned how to put their dollars together. I mean, they was just the other people couldn't even stand to look at us. That's why they flooded them out, burned them down, whatever. Because they didn't see how could y'all not have any rights, but y'all can still build up these towns and make all this money. So it's telling us we have it in our DNA. Our ancestors have given it to us. We just need to use it. So that's what I want to bring to the world. That's my thing.
Yes. Powerfully said, Goddess.
And
Powerfully.
April, what are you gonna do, ma'am?
You're on mute before you tell us, just FYI.
You're muted.
Not bad. I'm just talking. That was probably good because I was yes.
Oh, we saw the finger action. Yeah.
Right. Right.
I'm trying to point to her, do all the things.
Yeah. I'm back here like Florida Evans, like
Yeah, no, right.
Damn.
whole time. But yes, damn it.
Real. That is too funny. I know, right? Want to jump out your seat. Woo! Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but so many things actually. But I think the main thing for me is, and I actually got confirmation on this in so many ways. In terms of me, that it was not only safe to show up as myself in the world, that my own, and this was through getting birth chart readings and a numerology chart reading from yours truly, Akili. So dope. I'm just saying. It was all the things. It was everything it needed to be. But I got to this place in my life where everything in me was saying, like, I want to do it my way. I just want to be myself. I just want to be able to show up, like, and you feel guilty. You feel guilty feeling that way because there's this idea that you have to hustle. You need 10 different, and there's nothing wrong with having multiple sources of income if they resonate with you, right? If they are a reflection of you, if they make sense to you. But the more the emphasis is on working and working and working and hustle, hustle, hustle. And you know what I'm saying? Or even like how our parents and stuff did. You work 25 years, you retire and collect your pension, child. And none of that was just resonating with me, right? So getting to this place where I now was getting this confirmation in terms that who I was, just as I was, with my natural God-given abilities, right? Just me, being me was more than enough, right? And so some of the things that I've done in my life, and I like you, Linda, like people just come to you, just naturally. And I think probably all of us, for some reason, I feel like that's the case. People just come to you and you're like, and you don't even think about it. It's just what it is, right? And so I've always found myself, even from a child, being someone that even adults would talk to. Okay. So I have held space for people my entire life and didn't even realize that that's a thing. Yeah. Right. And I think, getting into the all of the, once I felt safe, exploring like astrology, numerology, and even tarot and things like that, which, for people who don't know, it is a form of, it's a divination tool. It's a way to connect, right? Yeah. To source, to your higher self, to get answers, right? And so, like what a lot of you have said in terms of feeling called to, helping people know and understand. Because once you know who you are and you start to get that experience, that freedom and that power, you start realizing like, okay, you know what I mean? This is everything. And right. Especially for our community, but everyone, but especially for our community, especially for Black women, what can happen, the shift, the change, what can happen if everyone understood their own divinity, their own sovereignty, their own innate power. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, even like tarot is great, but I even started moving towards using oracle cards just because it gave me an opportunity to hold space for someone as they came or received the answers themselves. So that's my approach. Is I may be receiving something for you. I can do that, right? If you want me to read for you, but the reality is that I'm reading with you.
Yeah.
Right. I'm receiving what I'm receiving because you're here with me. You understand what I'm saying? So it's really you that is bringing the information and the knowledge. It's a communication. It's a conversation. It's not just me sitting here and I'm getting this and I'm telling you. Like, this is a full experience. And so, I mean, that's great. I don't mind doing that if that's a more comfortable way for someone. But I think it's so empowering. It means so much when a person starts to be able to trust what they receive themselves.
Definitely.
So holding space, creating sacred space, holding space for someone. And it's almost like Linda says, it's almost gives them permission. When someone feels and sees that is what you're doing, right? When they see what that looks like, when you show up in that way and you encourage them and support them and give them that nudge, like, you got this, you got it. You are exactly it. We are no different. We are no different in that way. You know what I mean? And so, that's something that excites me, is when, people are receiving and things just starts connecting and all of the things as they're interpreting these cards themselves, and I'm right there with them, like, yes, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's a very beautiful thing. So right now, that is, what I'm into. But like I said, there's so many things.
Listen, you have said a mouthful of amazingness. And based on how dynamic all of us are, it's just it's hard to choose just one or two things. I think we're extremely multifaceted depending on what's going on at any point in our life. And again, so gifted that it just becomes, what do we want to pull out of our bag of tricks today?
Right, because we're not a one-trick pony. And to sum it up again, if I just sum up, what my purpose is, what our purpose is whatever we're called for in that moment.
Yes.
All the gifts that Akili has pointed out that we all have, we can pull from, that bag. Oh, I need this today to show up this way, and then I need to tap in here, for whatever is coming my way, a couple of hours down the road or tomorrow. But, in that moment, whatever we're called for in that moment, that's our purpose.
Yeah. And that in itself is audacious. That is the audacity to do the damn thing. Right? Okay. That is what we're talking about. That is where we are. So I love that. I love that. Anybody else want to say something here before I let Goddess Juanita take us down another amazing path? No. Bueller. Okay. All right. Well, Juanita, hit us with some encouraging words and advice for, someone who's listening to this podcast and they're thinking to themselves, I don't know. I might have a spark of amazingness. I might have something bubbling underneath the surface, but I'm not really sure how to be audacious. I'm not really sure how to get my inner divinity, up and tapping into it, right? How would you tell her to tap in with the goddesses?
Basically, I would say, number one, subscribe.
Sister says subscribe to the podcast.
You go.
Start out the right way.
That's right. Be in community.
Every week. But if I would speak about one of the things that we have to learn is one of the biggest things I think you can start doing, because it don't take no practice really to do it, is you got to start really meditating, going within yourself. If you just start out for a minute, 5 minutes in the morning before you get your day going, before you go to bed at night, just sit down and just listening to your breathing, just listen to your body, just get in touch with your physical self here in this dimension, right? If you start doing that, and when you start doing that, you will start, understanding that you are not this physical body. You're much more than that. And, as you do it more and more, you'll want to do it more and more. And I'm here to tell you that you are unlimitless. You are unbound. I mean, you're boundless. I mean, any possibility that you want, it's there for you to manifest. Anything you want to do. If you're not where you want to be today, if you're not who you want to be today, tomorrow you can be on that journey to where you want. I mean, because there is no limit what your divine self can do for you if you just tap in. I mean, that's my words. So stay tuned each week, and we're going to be breaking it down for you little by little, right? What you need to be doing, what you need to be thinking about. But really, I have to say, all the answers to everything that you want is within you. But you just got to take the time. And I tell you, when you do it, it becomes addictive. Once you start taking the time, man, when you miss it, you be like, oh my God, I haven't sat with myself for a while. I feel like I'm missing something, right? So I would just let you know that your possibilities, oh my God, it's endless. It's just unlimited. You are an unlimited being. You have no bounds. There is no up, down, no sideways. There's no it's just all. This is all. You are part of the all, which means you can tap into anything and everything.
Yes.
I'd like to share. Akili.
Listen, I have a couple of tattoos, and anytime I get a tattoo, it's always verbiage. One on my back says, "Fear creates followers. Love illuminates your path and calls you higher."
Right. I like that.
Right? I was like, all righty, Keely, go on and make up some stuff that sounds like it's good to you. Okay. So I have that in the mix. But then the latest one I have right here says "Made of Magic."
Oh.
And so I believe that everything that Goddess Juanita just said is nothing but the truth. It is like the body that you are in right now is simply just a way for you to maneuver around in the world. But I'm sorry. And I believe this for everybody, but Black people, we are stardust. Okay. I need you to understand in every sense of the word, all this dark matter, all this fantastic melanin and all of the wonderful molecules and wonderful that is who we are.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're capable of.
Yeah. No idea.
But we're not going to live down to other people's truths and right. So yeah, made of magic.
Yep.
Literally. Chemistry, mystery of Kemet.
Yep.
Okay, that is what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
All right. Yeah. April.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like what I would say, Juanita pretty much kind of said this, but your journey is yours, right? I think that's the thing, is like there's no right or wrong. And when you start on your journey, right, this spiritual journey, this path of knowing yourself, depending on where you started, you're going to be looking, you're going to be searching, and you're going to come into so many things, right? And if you happen to have been connected to something religious, it's very challenging to not try to find the right thing, because you want to do the right thing the right way. You understand what I'm saying? And so you're trying to figure out and you're asking people and you're trying to see because you don't want to get it wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so that's another challenge that goes along with the challenge question. But yeah, I think that the thing is it's all connected actually. I'm thinking about all the things that I've said. This whole idea, we've talked about just being who you are and that being enough. And not only that, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to everything else if you don't. So whatever comes to you, whatever resonates in you, whatever feels good, whatever makes sense to you, that's what's right.
Yep.
Whether it may be contradictory to what someone else is doing and it may not make sense to other people, you have to trust yourself and do what feels right and makes sense to you. And connecting back again to what Linda, I mean, it may change, right? You know, I was really into certain things when my journey like began, and I don't do those things anymore, right?
Yep.
Even meditating, like as much like meditating is the thing that it's like, listen, you gotta meditate, right? That's the message. You gotta meditate. Like that is it. That's how you connect to your higher self. You have to quiet your mind. You need to go there. And I had to get to the point, at least right now, and it's not something that I don't, it's not like it's something I don't want to do. But if it feels like a struggle for me, if it feels like I have to effort too much, if it just isn't happening for me, I've accepted that that's okay. It's okay. That's not where I'm at right now, right? And I receive messages in so many ways all the time. I'm always receiving, right? And that's just part of my natural gifts, which we all are. But I'm aware of that, right? I'm always in communication with spirit all the time. And so maybe I don't have to sit still to get the answers. Perhaps I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? And so if that's not it for me in this moment, that's okay. It's still on my list of things to do. It's something I want to get. Like, damn it, I want to meditate and experience all the things I keep hearing about. But that's the thing is I have no idea. You can describe it all day long. And what I'm already doing may be just as effective. Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's at the end of the day, my advice to a queen who's on her journey, wherever you're at, whatever you're feeling, whatever makes sense in this moment is perfectly fine and okay. You are in the right place, doing the right thing at this time. And as you continue, that'll continue to be the case no matter what you're doing at that time. So, yeah, that's my advice. What about you, Linda?
Well, I'm going to take a page from your grandfather's book. And my advice is to trust yourself. Learn to trust yourself. And if you find yourself asking yourself or telling yourself that you can't, that's perfect. And why is it perfect? Because you're doing the next best thing and you're being honest with yourself. You're being honest that you can't. And that opens up the door for you to then ask your higher self, why can't I trust myself? And it's going to just take you deeper and down that path. So learn to trust yourself, because as you learn to trust yourself, you are going to get those downloads. You're going to hear and spirit. You're going to know what the next step is. So let me add to that as well. Learn to trust yourself and then take action, because it's just one thing to, hey, yeah, to write out, to journal, take action. Once you have received what you have asked for, because if you ask for it, it will come. Take action, take that step. And that would be my advice.
Yep.
Trust and honesty.
Yes.
That.
I love that.
I'd like to add one more thing, getting on the same thing that she's talked, trust, just about on your path. Don't be afraid to do something that has never been done.
Ooh.
Don't be afraid. I mean, I find myself telling myself that, you think about, okay, ideal comes and you think, I don't think nobody's ever done that. But don't be afraid to do the thing that has never been done, because maybe that's your purpose. Your purpose was to be here at this time to do that thing that has never been done. Don't be afraid to do that thing. We need that thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm so glad you said that. Because I feel like that's even the indication. That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. If you think about, like, if you realize and recognize it doesn't exist or it hasn't been done, that's a sign that you were meant to bring it and birth it into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Oh man, this has been amazing. I don't know if anyone else has anything else to say in regards to that. But I feel like this has been a very full, a beautiful conversation. So I adore each and every one of you. I appreciate you showing up, and me getting to connect to you and experience, your divinity, as we continue along this journey. Um, but I just want to thank, anyone who's watching, whenever you're watching. Thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate you. We see you. We acknowledge you and your divinity. So please, yes, if you resonate with this, and you enjoyed something, that you've heard here today, please please share. Yeah, if you've been encouraged, enlightened, uplifted, consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you'll know, when the next video has been released. And yeah, we're going to bid you all adieu, peace and blessings until next time. All right, y'all. Peace.
Love.
Yes. Are you gonna say "and mystic soul"? That's what I usually say. And like
Peace, love.
Oh, my bad. I know.
Here, it's on the shirt. We got it.
There you go. There you go. I got to get that in there.
Right. That's right.